This is SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by SWBC Mortgage. Customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. Now, your host, Shannon Gross.
Wednesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. at the Star here at Cowboys Club in Frisco, Texas, and that can mean only one thing. It is time for Cowboys Crosstalk. And keeping with the holiday spirit, we thought we would bring you, the people, our own version of the land of misfit toys tonight. I'm Shannon Gross in the driver's seat of this sleigh ride over the next hour. And to my right, from 105.3, the flagship station of the Dallas Cowboys, the Fan, is Reggie Artatula. How you doing, Reggie?
Doing quite well. Excited to be here with you, gentlemen.
Did I get the last name right?
It was close enough. Attitula.
Attitude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, attitude. Reggie Wayne,
Stop.
attitude.
It's not your turn yet. To your right, is the great DallasCowboys.com writer, on-air personality, sometimes the Grinch, sometimes the hype man, Mickey Spagnola. Welcome to the show, Mickey.
Good to be with you guys.
Good to be
Glad
with
to
you.
be here, by the
Yeah,
way.
man, thanks for coming and hanging out, Mick.
You know, before we get to Nate, Reggie, I talk to him every day, 5 days a week.
That's correct.
And I had no idea who he is. And now I know who I'm talking to.
You met him in person tonight.
That's right.
Now you know who to avoid if you see him.
No. He takes care of me. Like when I forget it's 11 o'clock, I get the phone call from Reggie, and I come running down.
Reggie, was he taller than you thought he would be in person?
No, it's about the right height.
About
the right height. But it's not about the size of the dog. It's the fighting the dog. And
That's right.
We know Mickey.
I tell you, there's
He
some
knew the
fight-
voice, you know.
Yeah.
There's some fight in Mickey, I tell you
Absolutely.
that. And every once in a while, we like to honor greatness on this show. So we thought that we would shuffle the chairs on this show. And if he'll get off his phone long enough to accompany us on this sleigh ride, we'll talk to him tonight. To your right, Mickey, you don't have to stand up and bow up at me. You can sit back down. I know how tall you are and how big you are. But 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champ, my co-host on Hanging with the Boys, and here every Wednesday night with me, the kitchen, Nate Newton. Welcome to the show, Big Nate.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, man. Now that he's done the introductions, all of y'all can leave. I can do this by myself so y'all can get the truth on how the Cowboys going to win and proceed from this point on.
All right, well, Nate, before we get into the hardcore football talk, we don't ever really get to know what you've been up to, what you're doing. What do you do now? What is on your agenda during the week now for Nate Newton?
As Deion Sanders would said, who signed the #1 cornerback in the nation today.
Yeah, big
yes,
deal.
Sir, my boy Deion.
Big deal.
That's when I used to tell Deion, "What's up?" He said, "You wait." Yeah. That's all. That's all I've been up, Mick, is my weight.
You need to remember you're the guest tonight.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
the guest. I got to answer the question.
That's
What
right.
What was the question?
What have you been up to these days? what do you do whenever you're not on this show on Wednesday nights?
I go home, be with my beautiful bride, Michelle. She's out there in the audience. Then,
Hey, Michelle. How are
and
you?
I told her not to order anything over $200 because I want to be invited back. That's what I do. I live for the Cowboys. This time of season, you know me, Shannon, Mick, Reggie, you'll get to know me. I live for the Cowboys. You know, everything I do centers around that. I do several podcasts. I do the post and pregame shows. Sometimes they get to be on TV, but most of the time we're doing it on not 105. Y'all already have y'all deal, but
Yes,
we
sir.
do it on DallasCowboys.com. The pre and post, all during the off season, I travel. But I'm a United States guy, so you can find me in Montana one week, Arizona the next week, North Carolina the next week, maybe up Georgia the next week. I just travel. I try to put maybe 25,000 miles on my car a year just to travel.
Here's the thing with Nate, Reggie. Me and Mickey know this all too well. Nate, no lie, loves to travel.
Right.
He
Loves to drive.
doesn't fly.
Oh, okay.
Right.
He drives all these places. He one time texted us in the middle of the week, went all the way to California, San Diego,
Yeah.
went down to Mexico to have lunch with a guy, and then drove all the way back.
Yeah, but that's the scenic way to do it, isn't it? Right?
It's the way to do it.
You
yeah.
fly and you see the airport. You drive. You see America.
Yeah, I do. I've seen America, the ugly, the good, the bad. It don't matter what area I'm in, where I'm going, because when I went down to Mexico, you talking about somebody that did, I wanted to take pictures to make sure everybody knew where I was. So, hey, woo, boy, you think it's some bad spots here in America. Mexico can do it to you.
Well, you mentioned the good, the bad, the ugly. Reggie, where are you at on this Cowboys team right now?
Explain before you do that.
It's kind of flipped. The beginning of the year, the offense was carrying the team. Everybody was like, if this defense can just be middle of the road, we're in good shape. The offense is going to score 40 every week. We just need to hold them to 39.
Right.
Now it's like, we got a top 5 defense, man. Now the offense is trying to get it together. Where are you? My personal opinion, if you can figure the offensive side out, you got the right people at the right time coming back on defense. You got a few weeks to figure that out. We're going to be hard to reckon with in the playoffs, but can we get there offensively? Where are you at on this whole thing?
Oh, man, good, bad, and ugly is a great way of putting it right now. And like you said, it's been flipped. We expected the offense to carry the load and the defense to just come along and do their part. Defense is carrying the load at this point in the year. That's the good. The bad has been the injuries, but fortunately for this Cowboys team, you're starting to see folks come back, and that pass rush that's come together, and Randy Gregory, Tank Lawrence, Micah Parsons, that's going to put some fear in the rest of the teams in the NFC and in the NFL. The ugly right now has been the offense, and unfortunately, the guy that has been really good this year to start, Dak Prescott. It's been ugly play, but fortunately, at least the way that I've been able to gather some hope in it is we've seen him be incredible this season. So if he can get back to that type of play and execution really with the offense, then I think that this is a team to be reckoned with all the way through the postseason.
Mick?
They got to get the offensive line fixed because Dak's not out there playing singles as Bill Parcells used to tell us, right? This is a team game. And do you think it's just kind of coincidence that the quarterback is struggling a little, the running game is struggling a little? So why is that? Well, if those guys up front don't play any better, they'll continue to struggle. They got to get that line settled. They got to get some continuity up there and then get these guys going behind them. So to me, when you're playing quarterback under duress a lot, you're going to make some mistakes and you're going to start forcing things. When you're not running the football and you're always in 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7, that's good for the defense, right? And then the other thing that's got to happen is when they execute, they got to do it in the red zone, because one out of 5 touchdowns in the red zone this past Sunday, that's not going to cut it. That'll get you beat because you're kicking too many field goals. So they got to quit making mistakes when they get into the red zone and put themselves in a hole. If they can get that offensive line playing with some continuity, they'll figure this offense out.
Nate, guest of honor, where are you at on all this?
You know, the amazing thing about all of this is all of this can be fixed with one simple answer. And they started the shuffling of the offensive lines around about the time our quarterback returned from a calf injury. Mm-hmm. That number one, that was wrong. Number two, when we saw that our quarterback was not doing what he normally does, and that's cover up the mistakes, then you should have started right then. Doug Nussmeier, Coach Kellen, and Coach McCarthy should have started right then, the second game against the AFC West, fixing it right then. You know, we should have saw that his decision-making was a little bit off, you know, and we should have been trying to get him back to rookie Dak, where Dak would not throw that ball into triple and double coverage. He would know what was going on. And if he didn't see it, he just threw the ball away. So but that's where we start at. Secondly, our offensive line is not as bad as most people want to portray it. You know, we don't have the great back anymore because he is hurt. Zeke is hurt. We don't have a tight end that we can set the edge so we can take advantage of Tony Pollard before he got hurt. This offensive line is a middle-of-the-road offensive line. When the right guard is missing or the left tackle is missing, we become an average offensive line. When those two guys are in, we are above average offensive line. Coach Fieldman should be in Coach Kellam's office making sure that the protection lines up with what the quarterback is trying to throw. Another thing we have to do is you got to know where your strength at. And everybody else can talk about what's supposed to be. We got to talk about what is. We got 3 diamonds, mega diamonds, sitting on our offense that we will not get the ball to. I don't care if they drop a few passes. I'm talking about wide receivers. That is your job, wide receiver coach. That is your job, offensive coordinator. These are the stars. Yeah. Find a way. You know, aren't you tired of saying, wow, New England do it with less talent? Well, New England don't do it with less talent. They have great talent. That's just what they got y'all believing. But to come out and run a ball 50 times? 50 times? You mean to tell me we got 3 mega wide receivers and we cannot find a way to get them the ball? No, sir. No, sir. We should be, by the end of this deal, and we sitting at maybe 12 and whatever, we should be killing folks when it comes to the playoffs because our quarterback been found his glory and they've been found a scheme that fits what our stars are. Zeke is hurt. If he wasn't, he was on his way to something special. Tony Pollard has found his niche. We have to find what we do. And my other question is, what did from game 1 through game 9 name our defensive starters? It was not Gregory every snap. It was not DeMarcus Lawrence, and it wasn't this kid Gallimore. It was names we couldn't even pronounce. A kid named Osa. What is his name? Y'all gonna give? Yeah. Who heard of him? Who heard of Bohannon? Who heard of him? But you know what the coaches did? They got together, they built the scheme, and they executed this scheme. That is what our offensive coaches. Where is our money at? Where is our money at? Our money is on the offense. Yeah. Don't tell me you can't. Don't tell me you can't do it. I don't want to hear it. That's not an excuse. It's not acceptable.
Well, we won't tell you that they can't do it, but we do have to take a break. And when we come back,
I love this position.
When we come back, maybe you'll let one of us talk the second segment.
And I won't. You better talk all you can.
I know you're the guest of honor, but we would like to be part of the show the second segment. Okay, well, you know what's your show. You can do what you want. So come back to the Nate Newton Show. Right after this, you're listening to Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yes, sir.
On the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Bring one on me, baby.
is Cowboys Crosstalk. Check this out. Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back to the Nate Newton Show here at Cowboys Club in Frisco, Texas.
Yeah, baby.
Shannon Gross joined by Reggie Atatula, Mickey Spagnola, the great Nate Newton. And before we get back at it, at SWBC, they have customized solutions for individuals and businesses, and they're just a click away. Mickey, go visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure.
Absolutely. That sign's right behind me during the podcast every day during the week.
It is.
So
the beautiful podcast studio downstairs right over there.
Can you call SWB, man, to fix our offense? You think they can put a game plan for the
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nate, maybe we'll make that call on the second break. But right now we have more important things to get to.
I just want to know.
And since you left off the first segment talking, let's get right back into you talking. This time of the year, we got 4 games left?
4 games.
Is that
Four
right?
games.
Yes.
What is the mentality when you played? What was the mentality of the team going into this final stretch in the last 4 games? Was there ever a season where you guys didn't quite have it all together? Did you worry about getting it together? Were there certain things you were working on? And then, Mick, I want you to follow up when he does that. And is there any season that you remember over the years that you can compare this season to where one part of the team was clicking at the beginning of the year, the second part wasn't, and then what happened at the end of that season? Were they able to tie it
You
together?
remember the Barry Sanders season where we went up to Detroit and our defense got ran through?
91.
Yeah, that was that season where I don't have the expectations that everybody has for this team. I have the expectations is if you get seeded right and get that first week at home, then you have an opportunity to play the second week. And if you play the second week, you're going to have to really rally because the team you're playing, I know is equal or better than you. So you're going to have to really rally as a team. So I think it's a learning process. But what these guys have to start doing now is making sure they go into extra film mode, making sure they go into extra taking care of my body mode, and they have to be about their business. They have to be about their business. And see, this is what is hardcore for a lot of guys. It ain't about your wife, your mama, your kids. It ain't about your friends. It's about, for 4 weeks, preparing yourself. And I had to learn this. It ain't about being in the club or doing extra things. Charles Haley took me through it. Randy White took me through it. It's called dedication. All you got to do is lock down for a month for something that few people can have. And that's a playoff run. And this is what these guys got to do, especially guys, and I'm talking to guys like myself who were wild, who were out there and was wilding out, man, and doing this thing. I had to come back. I had to pull that thing in for a month because this is where the great teams start making their move.
Mick, do you remember a season?
Can't be wild anymore.
Give the fans some hope.
So what he's talking about is 91.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The Cowboys were sitting there. And by the way, how's this for symmetry? During this stretch of the season, they were sitting there at 6-5.
Yes, sir.
And they had to play 3 consecutive road games. They lost at Houston in overtime, got beat by maybe the Rams.
Yeah.
And then the third road game was at Washington. And Washington was undefeated. And they went in there and won the game. Upset them 24-21. And Troy got knocked out early in the third quarter. And Steve Berline came in and finished it off. And then they won. So now they're 7-5. And they won 4 straight to finish 11-5. They go into the playoffs, and everybody's like, yeah, well, this team hadn't won a playoff game since 1985. They go up to Chicago and win, right? And it's like, oh, my God, what's going on? And then they're going to Detroit, and I remember this so vividly. They got wiped out, like he said, by Detroit. Eric Kramer, of all people, Eric Kramer put 30-some points on them, right? And I'm going, there is no way that's going to happen again.
How much is Barry rush for?
I don't remember. But he threw for 300 yards, and they got beat again 30-something to 10.
Yes.
Right? But they had turned the season around at that point, and they came into their own, and they as a matter of fact, I was just talking to Rich Dalrymple, the Cowboys PR director, and we were talking about that 91 season, And I remember that on the way back, I had never been on the charter flight before. It's a long story, but I was on it. And they could have flown home without any fuel. The place was going crazy because they qualified for the playoffs for the first time since '85. And on top of that, Jimmy and Jerry were getting just beaten up about they don't know anything about football. And all of a sudden, they qualified themselves because now we're in the playoffs, right? We made the playoffs as a wild card team. They go on the road and win, and that turned this whole franchise around that year. So, again, you can pivot the last 4 games of the season. I've seen it. But, again, you got to get the offense going, the defense. Hey, hang in there. It's okay if you win a game with the defense. That's no problem whatsoever, as long as you win. And it's like I told people last week when – oh, it was an ugly win at the Saints. But it was a win, right? And I went and got my T-shirt that I've had since 1983, and the White Sox got into the playoffs for the first time since 59, right? 59. I was like 6 years old when they got in. And all of a sudden, in 83, they're in. Doug Rader, the manager of the Texas Rangers at the time, he didn't like the White Sox team, right? He said, they're winning ugly, right? Well, they won 99 games and won the division title. So I got a T-shirt that says "Winning Ugly."
Win ugly.
With the White Sox logo in the middle of it.
I like it. Nate brought up expectations a while ago, Reggie. Nate is good with how many? Winning 1-2 playoff games?
Yeah.
That's your expectation
Yeah,
this
that's
year,
my
right?
because, and I'll let Reggie explain to Reggie, but I want to say something, man. But go ahead on and let Reggie.
What are your expectations? What do you expect? What would you be happy with this team doing this year?
The funny thing about expectations is I place them in a different area than I think most do. Like Mickey was talking about, wins and losses are super important. You get a win, don't apologize for that. But my expectation is more on the quality of play than wins and losses. My expectations are now raised to a point, because we talked about coming into the season where the expectations, like, say for the defense, just be average. I've seen this team come out and play incredible football. I likened it on 105 through the Fan to, like, you have a child and they're capable of A's, and then you see them start making C's. That's what we're seeing from this team at times, especially on offense, is that, no, I've seen you be a pick-your-poison type offense. I've seen you be a team that has defenses on their heels. That's now my expectation of them because I've seen that from them. So when it comes to expectations, I want them to play that type of football. And then if they play that type of football, now we're talking about a one-game playoff type situation. Or, once you get to the playoffs, it's a one game at a time. I expect you to play that type of football. If something crazy happens, I can live with that. If you find a way to win ugly, I can live with that. But what I won't be able to live with is them playing poorly and then losing off of that, because I've seen them be the type of team that can go deep into the playoffs this season. I'm not even talking about 91. It's funny that you were talking about 91, Nate and Mickey, because I was born in 92. I didn't even have an opportunity to see that. So I don't even have to harken back to then. I've seen it in September, in October from this team. I want to see this now, December, January, maybe February.
Let's go.
This is the issue. Like I try to explain to people. Was that the 11 sack season against Philly too? Was that season?
91, I believe it was.
I think it was the 11 sack.
The first time you played them.
And this
11 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and we lost that game.
Same quarterback too, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And this is the funny thing I tell people. Then the next time we played Philly, and Coach Johnson told us, we need to win this game. We have to win. I don't care how we do it. And see, the reason I'm not panicking, and I don't know what kind of moxie the head coach got with his players, but you gotta win these games. You not for Arizona or not for the Rams, for yourself. Mm-hmm. And you gotta get better at winning these games. So now that means the coaches should be up in their office, sleeping in their office, trying to find a better way, not more plays, but what plays work. And putting it together and giving your quarterback the package where he's comfortable. And so now, because Coach told Berline, after the Philadelphia hit Troy for 85,000 times, he told Berline, you ain't holding on to the ball. So I think in the first half, he was like 1 for 13 or 1 for 16. And see, but we didn't have at that time what people would consider star players. But through hard work and dedication, these average guys became star players. So when I look at people that say the offensive line this, this, and this, the only problem we got, fellas, if we can get us a tight end that can set the edge, be it an offensive tackle or anybody where they can set the edge, you'll see a different run game.
So he's exactly right. Jimmy told Berline when they went to Philadelphia for that game with a chance to clinch the wild card berth.
Yes.
He said, I don't care if you only complete 20% of your passes. I don't want you to turn the ball over, I do not want you to take a sack, because once they get one sack, they get two, they get three, and all the people in the stadium go crazy. He said, so you just throw the ball away. I don't care. And that's what Berline did, and they were able to win the
Kevin
game
Martin came
on
out and
Kevin
got it,
Martin's punt return in the fourth quarter to win the game.
And it started, and what I'm trying to say is it ain't got to be perfect, but you
absolutely.
got to win. And you got to keep yourself in position always to win so your quarterback can have an opportunity to take you over the top. And that is what I'm saying. The most important thing right now is to find Dak's center. You got to find his center. I don't care what you do.
And the most important thing right now on this show is that we pay some bills and we go to break. When we come back, more on the Nate Newton Show. You're listening to Cowboys Crosstalk on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
thanks for hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. And before we get back to the Nate Newton Show, SWBC Mortgage joined the more than 120,000 customers that we've helped to find their happier way home. Visit SWBCmortgage.com to find a pro today. Shannon Gross, Reggie Atatula, Mickey Spagnola, and the great Nate Newton joining us tonight for our, I guess we have one more show before we get to the Christmas.
Yeah,
the
hey,
Christmas
Reg, let me
season.
ask you, man. You weren't named after some town in Louisiana, was you?
No.
The last name. Okay.
You thinking
No,
about
sir.
Ponchatoula?
Yeah.
I was thinking Atatula had to be from Louisiana.
Better, yeah.
No, it's actually Nigerian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you was born in Nigeria?
Born in Houston originally.
Right, okay.
But,
That's close.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely a Nigerian name.
Cool,
Well,
man.
Reggie, since Nate hadn't let you talk very much tonight, throw a topic out there. What would you like to spin the wheel on?
I mean, it feels like we've been talking a lot about it, but we've got Nate Newton here. It feels like it's right to talk about the offensive line. Like, would you like to get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening there? Because you've talked overall, but I mean, what besides just like the switching that consistency, or what is it, the fantasy football nature of changing out the linemen that's been the change?
I think you should stop with this game here. Whoever your left guard is, allow that person to be the left guard. Whoever your right tackle is, allow them. Okay, now we have to rally at the left because Tyron is not there.
So
but,
who would you put
know,
there?
Who that?
Left tackle for Tyron.
See, me personally, me and you talked earlier. You said they feel more comfortable with still doing all the extra heavy set work.
But he
me-
started the 3 games when
But
Tyron
me,
was missing.
it would be Lyle, the president, the regular center. I would let Coach Philman make the call on the left guard because I don't know enough.
Between McGovern and Williams.
But whoever it is starting this game need to start the rest of the season.
Okay.
And I would go with Steele.
Right.
It's just, you know, and I've seen this other kid play, Jasinki.
Ty and Secchi.
The second.
Yeah, okay, that kid. I've seen him play. And some plays maybe like, okay, it ain't as bad as I thought. And then all of a sudden, I'll be like, okay. But he's been fortunate because them times where he ain't touched nobody, they've gotten the ball out of their hands quick. I don't want to see a whole game. I don't.
Is this normal? Like here, I think we're used to, here's your line at the beginning of the season. Unless somebody gets hurt, that's pretty much your line throughout the whole year. This year, it seems like they've been, picking and choosing and musical chairs. Is that normal throughout the league? Does that happen a lot? And we're just
No, you have
spoiled?
to be injured. You
Yeah.
have to be injured
Right.
to have that type of deal. And I'm looking at teams that have those type of deals, and they're winning games. They're winning games because the quarterback is supposed to be that guy that can orchestrate the game. But I keep judging everybody off of 4 guys, and that's not fair. That's not fair because you ain't KC, you ain't Green Bay, you ain't Seattle, and you ain't the Bucks.
Well, thankfully this
Yeah.
year you ain't Seattle. Seattle's in a really bad
And
way.
guess what? And you know what? And they're still in the hunt.
They are.
They still in the hunt.
Wow.
See, I'm telling you, I try to share this with people. And the great Randy Galloway would always tell me 2 things. Even me, Randy Galloway, tough guy, mean guy, but a righteous guy. Nate, did you watch the game? It's all about the quarterback. And for years and years and years, I'm like, okay, build your team. And I still believe that. You hear me say it all the time. Build your team. So when you do get that man, he can do wonders. And Dak is at a stage in his career, and I know he had the horrific injury a year ago. I know he had the calf injury. I know he's had some pressure, especially 2 games ago against
Saints.
against the AFC West. I know it was hell during the AFC West. Mm-hmm. That run through that division.
Starting with Denver.
Yeah. So now the only thing that I see that is different, everybody's saying 2 deep safeties. Let's back up off the ball. Let's make them be patient. Dak used to have that patience. Get back to that patience. Get rid of that ball. I'm telling you, if he ever center himself, we going to do some things in the playoffs. We going to do some things. Then I fear nobody. 4 weeks ago, I feared nobody. Now I'm find myself like the rest of these fans. Oh, do we want to play Green Bay? Do we want to play Tampa Bay? Oh, man, we better not run into the Rams. You know, everybody want the Cardinals. Okay, be careful what you ask for.
Well, you're going to get them, right?
Be careful what you
A couple
ask
weeks
for.
away.
But are you guys scared of the Cardinals? It seems like one of the Cardinals' big if
would be
there's
more-
a weakness, is that
I
middle
would-
of that offensive line, and Micah Parsons could take care of that.
I would be more concerned with the Rams and Matthew Stafford than the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. And that may sound weird, but
Why is that, Mick?
Because I think he can be more erratic. He will throw some balls up that they're 50-50 balls, and he'll take a sack or two. So in the playoffs, you might not get away with that stuff. We got to remember, we talked about the offensive line. They made the changes. You're right. They need to get back to continuity there. Connor Williams, to me, the only reason they changed him out was because he was getting called for too many holding.
He was a marked man. He was
right,
a marked
and
man.
he was a marked man, and so they knew what the
Yeah.
referees were looking at, right?
And so you get a lot of flailing as a defensive player.
Yeah, and so they took him out to save holding calls, but I don't know that Connor McGovern played football better. He just didn't get called for holding. Maybe he should have, right? So I think if he returns there, if Steele can hold down the fort till Tyron Smith gets back, Lael Cowens is playing better on the right side, then I think this offensive line can get back with some continuity, and they can be able to get back. And if those teams want to play too deep, all right, we're going to run the ball on you, right?
The thing is, fellas, people out there, not you guys, because y'all going to have y'all opinions, and that's what makes us who we are. I'm telling you people out there that want to absorb some real information. When the playoffs come, the defense is going to dictate something, and you as a quarterback have to digest it. Everybody's beat up, and the only thing that gets you over is film study and grit. Whoever quarterback plays the best in the playoffs will win. Now, we can sit up here and assume each quarterback is this, and this, but only 3 of them we know that's cold-blooded. There's only 3 of them that we know that can stand up under the fire of a playoff run. Other than that, it's just a wild card. It's a crapshoot.
See, and the other thing we forget about when we talked about when things started falling apart, who was missing? Both wide receivers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
CD's out for a game and a half. Amari's out for 2 games. And now you're playing with your 4th, 5th wide receivers out there, and Gallup had just returned, if you remember, so it's from an injury in the first game of the season.
I knew that wasn't going to work.
So, yeah, it was tough, right?
I knew, you know, Reggie, when you know, like I tell people, when you're sitting around, the worst thing I can wear is to sit around at a table with people that think they know football. I'm serious. Because history ought to teach you something. Why did we go get Amari Cooper?
You needed the next receiver.
And you needed a nice receiver.
Absolutely.
You needed a religion. Because we was going to do a receiver by what?
Committee.
No.
Has it ever worked with Dak? Dak is not that type of quarterback. Dak is not Dak. Hey, y'all jump on my back. I'm fat enough to hold all y'all. Dak ain't that guy. He ain't that guy, bro. He needs his weapons. And when you get and it's how many teams? 32 teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's 27 teams that need their weapons. Because ain't but 4 guys can do what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's just all God honest truth.
Reggie, do you have confidence in this team that they can find the rhythm on offense now that they've got Dak's weapons back at wide receiver? They're trying to figure out what's going on the offensive line. Do you think the offense can now catch back up to the defense and right this thing heading into the playoffs?
I mean, they're capable of it because we've seen them do it. Like, I mean, if there's any, doubt about it, we've seen it with our own eyes. They've got to find a way to get back to that, right? And I have a little bit of hesitance about that because we saw the full complement of wide receivers in this past game, and it didn't look the way that we want it to look. So, they have that capability, hopefully with some stability like you guys have talked about on the line. The run game can look a little bit more
30,
capable.
How many, y'all, if we can tote the ball 35 times in a game and get 125 yards, we're going to win that game.
Any game? Or
If
just
we,
this week?
this week, next week, if we can get 35 carries, 125 yards, and no fumbles, we're going to win the game.
Yeah.
We're going to win the game. And it ain't about our offense catching up to our defense. It's about our offense finding their center. When you are at peace with who you are and the execution, it don't worry. You don't have to worry about catching up. You just play your game. You don't have to catch up. See, in Dallas, we are such a big market and such a powerhouse promotion team, so it's always one or the other. It's not one or the other. Our defense is mad. My players, when I played, are mad at me. All defensive players are mad at us because we were a top 5 defense. I asked many of the people in the crowd, hey, you know where our defense was ranked when we had that great so-called great offense? Oh, no, about 10, 12, maybe one year y'all was 5. No, for 4 or 5 years, a top 5 defense in every category. But who was talked about? It ain't about catching up. It's about just doing your job.
Yeah.
They had the number 1 defense in 1992 when they went and won that Super Bowl.
Yes.
And not one of them made a Pro Bowl.
Wow.
Not one of them.
That's the first time I had to see Jimmy do some fast talking.
He starts smacking his lips.
Man, he had to do because after that Pro Bowl vote came out in 92, and we were all in the next meeting. You talking about some defensive players hot, upset, and we had to get prepared for a game. Jimmy came in and laid down some good stuff and da-da this and da-da that and appease those guys, man. That's the first time I've ever seen him do that.
Did you have to pay for it in practice because they were all jacked up?
Nah, because like I told him, I said, y'all know you can't hurt the fat guy. All you gonna do is waste your time. Yeah.
Hey, Nate, when we come back, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, think about this in the break. I want since the Pro Bowl voting is coming to an end, at least the fan portion, we got quite a few guys that maybe should make the Pro Bowl team. We'll talk about who y'all think should be on the Pro Bowl. Think about a good PG-13 story that you can tell of all your 6 trips to the Pro Bowl that you can tell. This is a family show, so
good
remember
one.
that.
I got a good one. It's easy.
You got a good, easy one? All right, we'll get to Nate's Pro Bowl story. We'll talk a little Giants football. We'll talk a little who on this team is worthy of going to the Pro Bowl when we come back. You're listening to the Nate Newton Show
All pro is what you see
on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
SW.
SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back to the show. SWBC PEO, helping to alleviate the HR administrative burden that comes with running a business. Leave the worrying to us. Visit SWBCPEO.com to find out more. We are back. Shannon Gross joined by Reggie Atatula, Mickey Spagnola, and the great Nate Newton. And Uncle Nate was just about to tell us a good old Pro Bowl story. Nate,
Now, I want to hear about these guys, man.
What guys?
You say who are deserving. Ain't but 3 should make it.
Who are your guys? Okay, quit deferring. Yeah. This is your show, but we'll do this first. Who are your three guys that on this team are deserving to go to the Pro Bowl?
Zach Martin.
Okay.
The kid, number 11.
Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons.
Yes, sir.
And Diggs.
Those are your
And
only
I say
three.
that reluctantly with Diggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mickey, who you got?
Kind of with Nate, and I'm trying to think if we've left anybody out.
Oh, and the punter.
Oh, Brian
Right?
Anger.
Ooh. I can't believe you're talking about
and
a
the
punter.
punter, man.
Thought they didn't exist in your world.
Bro.
You know what? He leads the league right now in net punting, meaning how far you kick it and how far they bring it back.
The defense love him.
Net punting, he's number 1.
His defense love him. I'm telling you, Coach Quinn be like, way to go, son.
What about Curse? Would you put Curse in there?
Not yet.
No.
But can
He's
he
had a
have
really
2
good
years?
season.
Yeah.
But
But
you know
see,
what's
now,
going to happen with him is no one knows who he was coming in here.
Right.
You know, you can't ignore Micah Parsons, right?
Right.
You can't ignore what Diggs is doing.
Right.
And then you got to have a season like this and then do it again next year, and then you'll get the votes because, you know, part of the votes are fans, but the rest of the votes are the coaches and the players. And a lot of the players, I don't know how knowledgeable they are, what other teams are doing that they don't play against, right? So you got to make a name for yourself, and then you get in the Pro Bowl.
Now, Nate, one thing I want to ask, because I know
who are your guys now?
you guys are spot on with the guys that I was thinking of. The one guy that pops out that I'm interested in you guys' opinion on, because I know defensive end or edge rushing is a tough spot, and I know he's missed some games. Randy Gregory was putting up a pretty good season. Mm-hmm. Is that a guy that you would put in that consideration?
He's unfortunately, he doesn't have. I don't know if he has enough games to make up for
What he
the
missed.
4 he lost, right? Because the voting ends this week.
I think
is that right?
I think the fan voting's this week. Yeah.
Yeah, it ends like Thursday or something.
By
like
the
that.
way, votes on Twitter count double today. So go to the Cowboys Twitter account and retweet and vote for your favorite Dallas Cowboys.
Can you vote as many times as you want?
You can, absolutely.
Social media
You can
mogul over
You
there.
can retweet to your heart's content, Nate. Get your guys in there. Get your 3 guys.
My
in
guys
there.
gonna make it. I don't do the deserving guys. I leave that for fans and who buying jerseys, and which is a great thing. But I don't do deserving guys. I like guys that earn the right to be in there.
Do you ever vote on those singing shows? Like you text
No, I never do that right there,
Okay.
man. I don't even watch them things. My wife watches them things.
All right, tell us a good old Pro Bowl story. A Nate Newton Pro Bowl story.
Okay, the first year we had when Jimmy was there, and we had, I think it was only Emmett and somebody else made the Pro Bowl. Those was the only guys on offense.
Was it 9? It was 90, right?
Yeah, 90.
Emmett's rookie year.
Yeah, so everybody was kind of disappointed because they thought, Rich, I really didn't think that I had a shot. But, you know, I told him, I said, man, if I ever make the Pro Bowl, I'm going over there and I'm putting on me a hula skirt. You know what I'm saying? The palm trees and the hula skirt. And as soon as I made it, Rich them came and said, you know what you said, right? I said, I'm ready. And when I got over there, I got a picture at home where I had on the hula skirt and everything and was doing a little dance and all of that.
Shirt or shirtless?
Shirt, man. I'm going to keep on the shirt, man. I ain't got that type of body. I had to pay my wife to marry me, so just to face that.
Did y'all put drinks on other people's rooms and do jokes and stuff like that?
Nah, we didn't do that, man. I would go to the bar and people just liked me and they would just buy me drinks, you know. And I never had to pay for a drink when I was over there.
Really?
Sounds like when we were in London.
In London, yeah.
Yeah, people would see me, man. Other players would see me, and I had a reputation for being fun, having fun.
You used to be
talking
fun?
knowledge. Oh, man, I used to be the.
What happened?
Did you ever?
I still do have fun.
Did you ever go to the Pro Bowl when you weren't in it, just to join the other guys?
No,
No?
man, that costs money. Yeah. Back then, now when now, hey, ain't bad, but back then, no, sir. No, sir.
It's a long trip to Hawaii.
Yeah,
huh?
man. I took my family members, my friends. And I'm going to tell you another story. What's the great running back for San Diego? Caught all those balls.
Danian Tomlinson?
No, the other one before him, and then he went to he left San Diego and went to – he was a running back for TCU.
That's Tomlinson.
No, that's Thompson. No.
That's Thompson.
No, the other guy from San Diego State. But anyway, he was on NFL Network. But anyway, we was walking out and I saw him. I said, man, what's up? We talking and everything. Great running back. And my son, he had on some light blue tennis shoes, some Nikes. I thought they were sweet. My son, Trey, so out of character. And I said, Trey, meet such and such a great running back, da-da-da. And he shook his hand, and he looked down at the shoes. He said, Daddy, he got on some ugly shoes.
How old was he?
How old was Trey?
I don't know, about 6, 7 years old. I said, excuse me, man. He said, it's all right. He got his opinion. I like, thank you. Wow. Was it Daniel Thomas? I'm trying to think. It was another guy, running back.
We'll look it up. I'll Google it.
Can't think of it.
After I ask you guys this question.
He played for the L.A. Rams, running back.
Dickerson?
Won the Super Bowl. No. Great running back, man.
We'll look it up. Natron Means?
No.
We'll Google it.
No.
What's going to happen in New York? Is this a hands-down victory? Does anybody scare you on the Giants?
Nah, man. We talked about that on our show today. Man, it's just hard to look at a team. And see, this is where players have to have a different mindset is Leonard is out, number 99. He's out with a bad elbow. Mm-hmm. So you got Dexter Lawrence left. You got the Azeez, linebacker, number 51 with 7.5 sacks. The next guy is Leonard, and he's out. So you got Dexter Lawrence trying to hold down the fort. You got a few other guys trying to play. Number 55, I can't think of his name. You got you should just beat them. Yeah. Like Jimmy told us one time we went up to play Green Bay, and he told us, say, fellas, I ain't even asking you to win by a touchdown. But, fellas, no penalties, no stupid penalties, and no turnovers, and we win the game, whether it's by 3 points and whether it's by 100 points. Let's just go up here and win the game. He told us that. We looked, and Irv Cross and the other guy and Randy, the great guard for the 49ers were mad. They was to announce. They were mad. They put it out there on Jimmy. Jimmy didn't care. He's like, man, we're going to beat this team.
What do you think, Reggie? Does anything scare you about the Giants?
Nothing whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever.
Nothing whatsoever.
Nate laid out a great reason why the defense doesn't. The offense has been sputtering all season, and that was with the quarterback, Daniel Jones, he's not playing, correct, Miggy?
He got Glennon and then Foreman.
Yeah, I mean.
Glennon's starting, yes.
Yeah,
so and then the other kid may get some run, right?
They're talking about giving him some snaps.
I mean, we're talking about second and third quarterbacks against a team that's been playing very well on defense of these Cowboys. There's nothing over there with the Giants that scares me.
So, Nate, this may be the pharmacy.
Chuck Muncie?
No, man, they won the Super Bowl, man. Come on, this great running back, man.
Who won the Super Bowl?
The Rams that year.
I thought you said the Chargers.
He did say the Chargers.
I think
and then he said San Diego State.
Yeah,
all right, look, we got to get to the brass tacks moment of the show presented by Liberty Tax. Liberty Tax is a proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Join the team today at libertytax.com/hiring. Reggie, we'll start with you. What do the Cowboys need to do? We got about a minute and a half. Cowboys need to do, and what's your score prediction for
Who's
Sunday?
with the Colts? Excuse me. He was with the Colts.
Oh, my
that's
goodness.
an entirely different team.
Oh,
Nate.
my
He was with the
goodness.
Colts,
So it's
man.
not the Chargers. It is not the Rams.
It was the Colts, and he went
Well,
to the
then
Rams.
he went
talking
to
about
the
Edgerrin
Rams.
James?
Edgerrin James. No, the guy that's on TV, the smaller guy.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk.
There we go.
Thank you.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Thank you, man.
Executing the passing game, I mean, if they can get back to hitting these slants, these screens, they're going to tear that team up without question.
What's your score?
I think that this could be a get-right game for them, 31-14.
Mick?
35-17.
Cowboys?
1 point, baby. Just play.
Just one.
Play penalty free and don't turn the ball over and win the game.
That's it? Just
That's
that
all I
easy?
care about.
Penalty free and don't
Yeah.
turn the ball over?
Because they've got more guys missing other than Daniel Jones. Two of their top running wide receivers.
Kadarius Toney's out, right?
Toney's out. John Ross is out. Andrew Thomas, their best offensive tackle, didn't practice today. So they've got other guys, 2 cornerbacks out. They've got COVID issues like the rest of the league.
All right. Well, Nate, thank you for entertaining
What
us
a
tonight.
guest.
What a guest.
Boy.
Thank you so much. Mickey, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
They got to go see Mr. Miyagi.
Reggie, I'm glad I didn't butcher your name too many times. This has been Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk and the Nate Newton Show on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Mr. Miyagi, find you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?